The first impression that comes to our mind about any college: tall buildings, big classrooms, large lobby areas, thick books, IT labs, assignments, class tests, and projects, nothing besides that. Every hour, minute, second spent here help us carving and shaping our persona, cultivating innovative mindsets for the challenging world. Learning is a lifelong process. Sharing knowledge, inculcating values of life, spark the innovative horizons of mind. Fun and frolic is the nature of every nook and corner here. A daily dose of thrill we are sure to get here.
Good afternoon, everyone. I, Khushi Chaudhary, student of Media School, Delhi Metropolitan Education, welcome you all to the Career in Media Series 2022. CMS is a 5-day interactive session with industry experts organized by DME Placement Cell to apprise students of the latest industry trends and scope in the media sector. I would like to take a moment and introduce Delhi Metropolitan Education to our viewers. Delhi Metropolitan Education (DME) is an A-grade premier educational institute affiliated to Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University, New Delhi, and approved by Bar Council of India. The institute offers BBA, BA LLB, and BBA LLB with BCI approval and BAJMC programs. DME believes in imparting world-class education to its students while training them to develop and enhance their skills. This education and training enable them in taking up challenges of industry and creating a space for themselves with their competence and vigor. Dma Media School is one of the most promising media institutes in the country. It offers BA in journalism and mass communication. It is recognized as a school focused on the growth of its faculty and students through academic and co-curricular activities. Major flagship events and initiatives of the school include BJ Varghese Lecture Series, Peer-to-Peer FDP, International Film Festival SIFI, International Conference ICANN, and Vritika Convention of Media Students. Newly added to the list are VIS, Vibrant India Series, and now CMS. The Training and Placement Cell of DME Media School acts as an interface between the industry and academia by facilitating professional opportunities for students and organizing guest lectures and special sessions with industry experts and senior media educators. The Training and the Placement Cell functions under the aegis of DME Media School. Therefore, as an extended activity of the Placement Cell, the DME Media School keeps organizing interactive sessions with the media experts. Now, I request Dr. Ambrish Saxena, Dean DME Media School, to address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Khushi. So it's a matter of great pleasure that today we have Mr. Satish K. Singh with us. He is a very eminent journalist who has been there in the profession for so long and has prepared many generations in journalism, and we are lucky and our students are lucky that he agreed to be here in this session. As Khushi has already told us, and this whole audience comprises of the students, we know that this whole series is part of in a way orienting the students before they join the industry. Last year, we normally organize various kind of sessions before the students are passing out. They are coming out from DME with this BJMC degree and joining industry, whichever platform, whichever sector they join. But we tried to make it more streamlined last year, wherein we started with this series of careers in media series, in which we are touching upon all important sectors of media, and we are inviting experts from different arenas. And as we all know that today's time is changing very fast, and in the media sector also so many things are happening, and particularly internet or this arrival of the digital technology has changed almost all sectors, be print or radio or television, and otherwise also digital has developed as an independent stream. There are newspapers, there are television channels who have their digital presence, who have their websites, who have their news portals. On the other hand, there are independent news portals as well, which are completely based on digital. So in today's time, there is a serious demand of professionals who are good in two things. One, that they are well versed with the technology and they can use technology in various ways. And also there has to be people who are good in writing. Because ultimately, whichever media sector we talk about, the writing part, the content part becomes the most important thing. So in digital, there has to be a combination of the content and the technology. And since Mr. Satish K. Singh has worked on various platforms, and for last many years he has been working on the digital side, so that is how we thought that he will be the best person to enlighten the students as to how the content is important and how the students need to learn to work on the content and to disseminate that with whatever technological tools are available nowadays. So I'm hoping that the great learning is going to happen in this session, and there will be certainly some important takeaway from this session by the students. With this hope, I stop here and I welcome Mr. Satish K. Singh again, and I'm looking forward to having a very meaningful session. Thank you all.
Our guest for today is Mr. Satish K. Singh. Before I hand it over to him, I would like to share a brief note about his profile with you all. He is a digital editor at News 24. He has worked with top media brands like Z News, NDTV India, and Broadcast Initiate Limited. He is a member of the Advisory Council of Delhi School of Journalism DU and member of NBA Redressal Authority and also of Editors Guild of India and executive member of Broadcast Editors Association. He has specialization in Indian polity and society, international relations, domestic policies, economic policies, India, and in sports and health. He's been a regular expert panelist for the last 15 years on various news channels of the country. He has appeared thrice on Voice of America as a co-panelist. He is a regular speaker in various colleges and universities of the country in the capacity of an expert. Now, I hand over the session to Satish, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Saxena. Nice to see you. In this today's world, we are only able to see each other digitally, distantly, but instantly. This is the way we are living in this world. We are living in the world of what was wrongfully said, that it's a social distancing. I would say it is physical distancing. It's not social distancing. Society is instantly connected, and not only the Indian society, our society, in fact, the world as a whole is connected instantly. What you rightly said, that digitally we are moving fast. I would say it's not only fast, we are just racing. We are racing away in all walks of life, in the way who knows, someday you will have to breathe digitally as well. That's a stark reality. That sometimes we'll get some oxygen supplies digitally. You never know. Technology is moving so well, so hard, and so rounded. So you never know what will happen. My daughter is a doctor, and she says that people are now connecting digitally for telemedicine and some consultancy. So this is the way. This is where we are. I got the topic to speak about the writing part in digitally, and all kind of how we are placed digitally. Well, I must tell you that I was associated with News 24. Right now, I am not. But in fact, I had a big role in setting up their digital team. And after that, I'm working from home for various channels, various platforms, and this is where do I stand. Well, in fact, before going to digital writing, etc., and digital part, I would just like to touch upon two things briefly. Uh, uh, three things. One is uh, uh, why are we distinguishing the online platforms, digital platforms, be the other platforms like newspapers, like television medium, TV medium. I think it's a technologically we are different. The way we present the things are different, but essentially we are doing the same thing by every every part is doing the same thing. We are doing journalism, we are doing communication, we are doing writing, and we are doing broadcasting. So the content should not difference. The content is almost same. The way it is presented is different. So this is one where I would like to begin, because ultimately we are doing journalism, and in this today's world, everybody who is participating in this class or lecture series, all of them are journalists, all of them are communication man. Every gully has a journalist now, everyone is a journalist now. You just need a phone, and that is the way the world has moved forward, where everybody has become a journalist, and I don't mind that. The only thing is, the monopoly should break and the truth should prevail. The facts should prevail. This is where this is the distinct, this is not a distinguishing line, but this is the standard line. It's that fact should not suffer. The content should not suffer. The, the standards of journalism and communication must not suffer, and we should not make any compromise with code of conduct. That there is a written as well as unwritten code of conduct for journalism and communicators to do that. Unfortunately, we have a lot to reflect on that, but this is one thing I would like to say. Yes, we are information loaded society these days. That we are overloaded by information, right or wrong, false or correct, whatever. But we are suffering. I will use the word suffering. We are suffering from an information overload. We are suffering, and we are being made to suffer the propaganda and publicity blitz. We hear the troll army thing, we hear the trolling down of public personalities of everything, right, wrong. You're just, torn down. Because an army comes out from nowhere and demolishes you. Then we are living in a society where, when we are digitally isolated, we are isolated but digitally connected, then the marketing companies or all the sellers or the retailers or the aggregators are pumping you with so-called information in form of their campaign to sell their products, whether it is being sold by the politicians, by the government, by the individual. They're trying to sell you, they are trying to sell their products, either a human person or a human being, or their companies or their products, consumer products. But and they are telling us that this is information. This is where this is communication. And herein comes the question of journalism. Is it journalism? What you are being fed with, is it journalism? Or even if you are doing some communication from your smartphone, from any gully or any veranda or any room of any field or any part of the country or any part of the world, is it journalism? This is where my starting point is. The second two things I have covered, which I wanted to. And the third thing is, unfortunately, maybe that it takes time, that we are also living in a society, in a developing society. This kind of society that we are witness to is very divided, polarized, maybe uneducated, maybe illiterate also. Maybe some part is very literate, very, very media savvy, and they are good also, they are ideal also, they are really good as well. But what we are witnessing is that there's a whole lot of people, and the whole society, the caste, the creed, the religion, the set, the sloganeering, the dumbing down, or trumping it down. These kind of things, has propped up a whole lot of people who are unscrupulous, and they have a fixed agenda, they have fixed mission, and and we are paying the price. Unfortunately, our mind has been blocked, or many things we are being persuaded not to question, not to discuss, just to believe. And to me, the role of a journalist comes here, that if you're a journalist, then you have to be fact based, you have to be rational. You shouldn't look for a celebrity like status overnight that you get, and you should not feed to the gallery. You are not performing on a cricket field or in a sports stadium. If you want to be a journalist, decide that you want to be a journalist and stick to being a journalist. If you decide to be a PR person, no problem, you be there, but don't parade yourself and don't tout yourself as a journalist. So this is the starting line. Now coming to the digital part, the writing part, etc. Well, I think, as I said in the beginning, that for me, the platform doesn't matter, and for you should also not matter. I think you can specialize in digital journalism or digital communication. That's an art. That's a kind of a skill that you. But if you are looking at journalism as a whole, then you should know the print part, the TV part, the digital part, the audio, radio, video part, all of them together and side by side. Maybe that you specialize in digitally. That's not a problem, but in fact, it's an addition or it's a specialization. But essentially, the the medium, or all of them, are catering to one very fact: journalism and communication. So that you should always bear in mind. Second thing, as part of this, I would also like to be very particular about this, and I would emphasize, I will like to tell you guys that you have a future ahead. And unless you are good, well educated, well versed with your subject, you do not know the nuance. If you do not know the nuances of your what you are doing and what you're going to do, then I don't think that you have a long lasting career, and you will just fizzle out. It's not only about technical presentation. Digital is also a big thing about digital is presentation. That how do you write, what sort of tag that you use, what sort of embedding that you do in between, what sort of markers that you use, what is the length of your writing, how you use your language, how direct you are in language, all sort of things. Punctuation, how do you do the punctuation, after how many words you put some pictures, or so how good a para should be, whether it should be long, whether it be short, and there are other forms. I mean, there are different forms. Are you doing a short video or a short news 1 minute, news click 1 minute, or you are doing a write up of it's an opinion kind? Are you doing some film kind of a presentation about media? Everything differs, but essentially, until unless you know your subject, you are educated, you are literate about what you are going to do. uh, you, you see, just by presentation you can't be existing and prospering for too long. Maybe that in an instant world that you might rise as a 2 over batsman and the dying overs, or say in a 2020. But I think you should uh, better prepare for 1 days, and it will be good, very good, if you prepare for 5 days, if you take the metaphor of cricket. You see, this is, I think, it matters. To me, writing is, what will you write? I'm just posing a question. What will you write? Until unless you know something, you have an idea, you have deep knowledge of the things, then you can pick up the news point, you can pick up the headline point, then you look at the subtext headline. Uh, you have plethora of books, a lot of material available. Google is, what, everything is available on Google. So it matters a lot that you know about your subject, and from there you pick certain elements which is in your view should be, uh, according to the demand and need of the people, of your viewers or your target viewers or our target readers. So this is where you write. That doesn't mean that you will only cater, as a journalist, you will only cater to the uh, to the to the need of your, or to the like bent of your readers and viewers. No, you also need to be true to your profession. And until unless you are true to your profession, you're not compromising with facts, figures, narratives, uh, you know then you'll not be able to do justice. Unfortunately, in our today's world, what is happening in the mainstream media is the facts have become casualty, and people are openly taking sides without caring for facts, without caring for standards, without caring for code of conduct. And that's happening a lot in Indian media. So I think I'm not of that school. I don't belong to. For me, the facts are supreme. And even if I have I have a special liking for, say, Dr. Amrish Saxena, I'm not going to state publicly, but maybe in individual dealings, in individual interaction, maybe that we are pally, we are friends, but my bent should not reflect, and that should be care. That is the care we need to take when we are writing, when we are doing a story, when we are covering as a reporter, when we are distinguishing or like dividing facts from fiction and view, or a forced narrative or a imposed narrative, and we are not getting sucked in by the propaganda and the publicity army of different, say, political parties or different companies, MNCs, or say in desi companies or desi entrepreneurs. They would like to have their way, always they would like to sell the product, as I said in the beginning itself, that they will like to push their products into your throat, in your psychology. So what is the role of a writer? What is the role of a newsroom? What is the role of an editor? What is the role of a reporter? And the person who is editing or writing those stories on the desk, or presenting themselves a story, they should not compromise with facts, at least. And until unless you know about facts, you are educated enough about facts, you know your subject, you won't be able to distinguish. So unfortunately, what is happening is that people do not study, do not read, they do not have the basic knowledge. And for instant publicity, or say is of career growth, what they do is they fall to the propaganda and publicity machine, and they want instant glory, and so overnight they make compromises. And it is happening at the organization level, it is happening at the big level, among the patrakars, and they call themselves patrakars. There there are a lot of them that they're compromised, they have compromised. Maybe that in terms of money, in terms of position, they will get some, but it doesn't carry you in long run. I mean, you're not held in good esteem. Why do you come to journalism? You're not coming to journalism to become a, Salman. You're not joining journalism to be a Salman Khan. Be clear about it. If a journalist become a Salman Khan by facts, by figures, by write-ups, by intellectual, uh, powers, by, um, then welcome, it's welcome. Even Salman Khan values a journalist. Have you seen those? He calls a lot of journalists to his shows. One or two I've seen. So if they call you and they hold you in high esteem, you have to you have to be very, very particular about your profession. And particular, if you can't be particular about your profession until unless you have facts on your side, you have intellect on your side, you have education on your side, you have knowledge on your side, and you have those writing skills. Writing skills. What will you write? What is an idea? Where does the idea come from? I would see that you should be taught, or maybe being taught, about a copy. What is a copy? What is a copy? You should have good sentences, crisp sentences. You should have a simple writing. You should not have a compound sentencing, compound sentence writing. Don't confuse. You have to communicate because you want to connect. So this is one of the most important thing about digital writing is this. If you're writing about, say, like the politician does, have you seen those politicians? Those who are not very clear, they are not understood or they are not accepted by the people. And people only accept those politicians uh, who speaks well. And what is that well? The well is that they make it simple. They make it simple. The first thing of a communicator or a politician is to make it simple. Don't complex it. Don't compound it. Don't confuse. Because if you think that if you're presenting yourself as an intellectual, people are not that much big. They are not a intellectual that they are talking to intellectual or they're listening to reading about an intellectual. So the communication should be simple. It should be direct, short sentences, and you learn those things: how to put pictures, how to connect your pictures, write your copy according as much as possible according to pictures. That picture tells you everything, man, everything, and you should have developed an eye to how to pick those pictures, how to among five pictures, say, of say anybody in a family member. Obviously, you also choose there which are the good ones, which picture to send to say your institute, which pictures to be publicized. So here you in family also you do selection. You click a lot of pictures. I mean, we are most picturized generation and picturized instant human civilization in entire civilization history. We are most photographed. We are being videographed and we are being YouTubed every second. Every Facebook presentation, everybody is doing Facebook, on Instagram and some Telegram. Everybody is communicating every second. So I mean, communication is also a form of writing, I would say, which comes through your mouth. So this is where what do you contest? What do you do then? You have to be very selective. You have to be well read, and you have to write according uh, to the content. And your content preparation should be very, very good, in my view. You see, it's not only about it's also not only about presenting a beauty queen for a beauty contest. That's a part and parcel of digital writing, but that's not the only essential thing. What we lack is that we lack the meat. We lack the what do you call it? The gray matters. And if you know the gray matters, this serious stuff, going deep down, and then you analyze, connect the things, and pick those things in an editorial form wherein you edit the things, and then you write your stuff. That makes a good copy. And there are all, I mean, various kind of copies that you write. You have to be, sometimes you have to be very serious in writing. Sometimes you have to be, like you have to be very humor kind of a thing. Sometimes you have to be very short. Sometimes you have to write basic facts. Somewhere you need to have some interpretation. Uh, and when you go for interpretation, you should not be biased. You should see that facts are not compromised. So there are various ways of writing, and depends on what you are writing. What are you writing? It depends on that. So accordingly, you should have the preparation and the presentation, in my view. This is one thing. It's not only about presenting your presentation as a beauty queen, but beauty comes from the things that I have mentioned, the factors that I have mentioned. You should have hygiene. You should have the language should be direct. You should not be camouflaged, and it should not be vulgar. No, not at all. And it should not be Sanskritized also. Ki, how do as if we are going to write something, manuscripts or something like a big dissertation to be presented at the International Hall of Fame. No, not like that. You have to be legible, you have to be audible, you have to be presentable so that your viewers and readers accept your writing. This is the way you do it. But don't be sensational also. Don't be sensational. You don't need to be. You can be humorist. You can be, um, use punch, pun, everything. You can be satirical as well. But these are various forms of writing that I'm mentioning. But your basics should be correct, in my view. One thing I would also like to say is that the kind of words that you use, the kind of sentence that you make, you see, you should be very particular about that. What kind of words that you use? First of all, you question yourself whether you understand that word. Think that whether people whom you're writing for, you're presenting digitally, do they understand this word? Do they understand this word? That is very important. So every word should be used keeping your audience and the target audience and the viewers or the readers in mind. Starting with the fact that whether you understand it or not. And you should question yourself whether only you understand yourself, and or because it is meant for others. It's not that I'm writing for myself. If I know, that's why I'm writing. So for me, it's not. That question again and again whether it is acceptable to the people, whether people will understand, will they read well, and they won't find any pressure. So you should always write that people should connect with you. There are a lot of people who write so well that you take an article to read, and I'm not going to name people, that I also prefer some these 2 3 writers, but with some of them I connect instantly, and which is a very easy reading. But with some, it's really a tough task, very tough task. I think those intellectuals write only for intellectuals or for themselves. So it should not be like that. One thing about digital platform is that it's not only about writing, because technologically we have been so much, engrossed, and technological web or connect is so much that if you do not write digitally as per as their specification, there are many aggregators, distributors, CDNs who doesn't pick your story. It doesn't comes up, it goes down, and people do not like them, and then it steadily goes down in the rank. So that also needs to be kept. That and they look for certain parameters, and those parameters it will take a lot of time. And I also need a book, then I'll can tell you about those parameters. But since I'm speaking here, the basic parameters for them is the factors that I have mentioned. That it should not be cliched, it should not be Sanskritized, it should be properly tagged, the pictures should be used in between, the sentences should be short, crisp, and easy to, like it's easily palatable. And so kind, this is the way I think digital writing is all about. And you can see, I'm just drawing a parallel wherein you can see that even newspapers are becoming digital, in my view. You see a lot of graphics used. You can see a lot of colors being used in newspapers. In fact, they are trying to, they will say 10 points about budget, 5 things about Modi's speech today, 3 things, 3 factors about, say, Punjab elections, and 4 things about Corona, Omicron variant. I mean, tabulation, they're using those short, crisp, and direct hitting, presentation uh, with facts. The presentation of facts is also being, changed. And it has gone to newspapers from digital presentation. And digital presentation is what? This is a mix of both newspaper and TV. Digital is a mix and blend of TV and newspapers or the magazines, That way, digital is future also. In fact, it is present also. It's not only future now, it's present. So that is why newspapers have been forced to adopt those digital parameters so that their readers remains with them and they present the things in a better way. And earlier used to be, essay-like newspapers, panna ka panna. Now it's not like that. It's not like that. It's a very hygienic, very well laid out, very, very pointed presentation, mostly. So it's some parts are being taken by the digital, some parts are being adopted by the TV medium, and some part are being, like newspaper, because they still think, and in fact, they, to a large extent, they are still, the preferred mode. So they are trying those digital thing, and you see all the major newspapers of India, English or Hindi, they have also started, they have a YouTube channel, they have a Facebook page, and they are doing lives and everything because they don't want the audience or the readers to shift there, and they want them to, remain where they are. So what I'm essentially, and this is the last point that I'm going to make, because you have a time constraint. Uh, I think already. You see, oh yeah, we are reaching time as specified and mandated by Dr. Saxena. We are becoming, what we see in hockey or we see in cricket. There's something called all-rounder. And in hockey, what they call it, total hockey. The person in hockey who plays as a forward, who plays in midfield, and who backs up as a, defender. Similarly, in cricket, those who can bowl, bat, sometimes we keep wickets also. Sometimes, he's a very good fielder also. He's called all-rounder. You see? So all-rounder and total hockey. Why I'm saying is this, why I'm saying this is that you're not only, a digital man, you're digital generation people. And in fact, we are getting outdated. I'm not outdated. Maybe that in terms of age I may, but I'm not. I'm not at all. I learn everything every day. So what I'm saying is that you need to be a total journalist now, total communication. That if you're in digital, you should not keep newspaper away in the dustbin. You should know that acumen also. Similarly, you should be a TV person also, because uh, all those who are listening may be having YouTube channels and Facebook page. I mean, you are a presenter also, you're an anchor also, you're a reporter also, you're a writer also, and so there's nothing called digital something. So I would say that, like as I gave the example of a total hockey and an all rounder of the game called cricket, you need to be an all digital person or instant person or the most relevant person right now, wherein you do not only depend on Dr. Amrish Saxena to open a channel for him for his institute. You can open a channel for yourself. So, I mean, everybody is a journalist. As I said, कि गली गली में अब पत्रकार है, or everybody is a patrakar. And what is good about patrakar is, like, for any big news, big breaking news, in fact, unfortunately, we are responsible for it, that we have broken the news. And I hold myself one of the very responsible person for this. And though I'm not that responsible, but my news fraternity has dumped down the news. They have done all sort of injustice to news, and they have compromised with facts, and they have compromised with a lot of things. Uh, but what I see is that big stories and big breaking news only comes from the gully and mohalla and done by very common people who are not trained professional journalists. That's a very important development that is taking place in the whole world, including India. Can you, any of you, tell me that when we saw those uh, dead bodies floating in the Ganga in at the times of Corona outbreak too, who did the story? Did some celebrity journalist do the story? No, no. The answer is no. So similarly, all such stories which is happening, which is all is spread like everywhere. So everybody is contributing now, and any story is coming out of blue from anywhere, anywhere. So everybody is a journalist, and so people, even a politician, even a even a artist, even a cricket player, everybody is becoming a total person, total person. So why not journalist? Why a digital journalist, total journalist, or a total communication man? Netaji is doing all kind of things. He also has a Facebook page. He goes on the dice to speak also. He connect with the people also. Similarly, you should have a writing skill as well. You should have a newspaper writing skill as well. You should have a TV presentation as well. So what we need right now is that we need a total person. Whether you become a hardcore journalist, you become a whatever you do justice with your profession, with your acumen. That's what I'm saying. Yes, we are going into the age of where we need specialized persons. Yes, what is a specialized person? You need to be all rounder to start with. Maybe that you specialize in something, but specialize in what? That you become a master of that, art. That is where we stand now, and that is the future that behold us. ये सामान्य चलता है attitude is not going to work. Maybe that to start with, given instant fame, for some time you might run very quickly, but you will be run out if you don't play and you prepare for a bigger future with big vision in mind. And I would like to end up here. You should have a vision class. I think I will request Dr. Saxena to especially have a vision class for a 17, 18, 19, 20-year old vision class. What we have heard is that a placement cell is there. What we have heard is that you have a PR cell. For me, the most important thing about everybody's career of life is that what vision that you get. Until unless you don't have a vision of your career, of the society, of your chances, of your prospects, of your opportunities, in terms of even reading or writing or whatever, I think then you're only playing T20 and you are playing only on your half. The target should be to play in the other half, for better half. Thank you very much.
Now, I would like to request Mr. Pramod K. Pandey, Assistant Professor, Dma Media School, to conduct the Q&A session.
Um, Sir, there are questions that I'm getting on my personal text, and there are students who are concerned about the way media is being perceived these days, which is evident on so many platforms. So, there are students who are concerned that whether will it have any kind of effect on the opportunities that will be coming in the way of the students in future. So will we see a kind of lack of interest in journalism, or we can see some increase in the number of jobs and career opportunities in future?
तो मैं हिंदी और अंग्रेजी के मिक्स से ही बोलता हूँ. देखिए, मुझे नहीं लगता है कि opportunities are going to dry. I think opportunities are going to increase. The essential requirement is that how well prepared you are and how well you are envisioned. If you have a better vision, then you can see a lot of opportunities. If you don't have a vision, then only will try to flock to a new digital channel or a like Pados ka channel, and then you end up nowhere. So what is happening? What is, you see, opportunity will increase because you see some 4-5 years, 3-4 years only ago, was there any digital opportunity? Was there? No, I don't think so. There was no opportunity digitally. Some 4 years, just hardly 4 years. It's a phenomenon that digital has picked up so much. In fact, I think it's becoming the most preferred one. So I think, in my view, some courtesy, those aggregators and a lot of earning possibilities has also increased. We know a lot of journalists who have their own YouTube channels, Facebook page, etc., and they are making money. Just to not only making money, there's some fast money they are also making. So I don't think, I think in my estimation, according to my rough estimate, some or a bigger or on a smaller scale, in my view, 10 lakh jobs. 10 lakh jobs has been created in the last 4 or 5 years in media. Maybe more. I am being very conservative. You see, the channel I was working with, there I was heading the digital wing. It had about 100 people, and those all were recruited, say, after 2016. 2016 they were recruited. Some maybe not, maybe some 4 or 5 from the past. So I myself seen 100 recruitments done in my presence. Similarly, I can see a lot of my friend journalists. They are having a big presence on digital media, and obviously, what we are doing right now here, we can also, by smart TV, we can watch it on smart, big screen also. So opportunities are increasing. In the form and the substance may differ, but who's stopping you from creating your own channels and creating good content? And who's stopping you? Who's stopping you from writing? Who is stopping you from blogging? Who's stopping you? So that is why I said that the career prospect, the opportunities, the vision, and the kind of things that are available should be known to you guys. This is where I think, I may be difficult. Maybe that you may say that you will not land up a job, say NDTV. Doesn't matter, man. Doesn't matter. Everybody can create an NDTV, right? Or say CNN IB. That's the explosion that has taken place. So in my view, it is not going to decrease. The second question is very important to me. The kind of the media, the way it is perceived now, right? Yes, there's a big divide, there's a big compromise, there's a propaganda war, there's a one block against second block. Well, For a newcomer, I would say either you join one of the propaganda block or you carve a place for yourself. Don't compromise. In my view, don't compromise. Create your own niche product, because I may not be aware when I'm speaking to you. There are thousand celebrities who has made it, no, has come up in last 4 or 5 years in India, and though all of them have come from the digital space in India.
सर एक प्रश्न और है स्टूडेंट का कि जिस तरीके से मीडिया का पूरा जो दायरा है जो बड़ा है उसमें अब मल्टीटास्किंग और बहुत सारी तरह की स्किल्स को एक्वायर करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो गया है। ऐसे में अगर एक व्यक्ति पूरी तरीके से जर्नलिज्म की तरफ डेडिकेटेड होके अपना अध्ययन करता है और उसकी तैयारी करता है तो ऐसा चांसेस रहता है कि देन दैट पर्सन मे नॉट बी एब्जॉर्ब्ड इन अदर फील्ड्स बिलोंगिंग टू द फील्ड ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन। तो ऐसे में हाउ अ स्टूडेंट कंसिडरिंग द ट्रेंड्स एंड द सिचुएशन टुडे कैन प्रिपेयर हिमसेल्फ और हरसेल्फ for the times to come?
I think, digital is mostly a presentation medium. It's a technological innovation. Otherwise, minus this, you are a journalist. Journalist for this, all the medium are same. It depends, and I have elaborated in a big way today that yes, you need to be a total person. But having said that, just being total is not the answer. Until unless you have the meat, the content, you have the acumen and the knowledge part, wherein you want to be a journalist, then you want to be a journalist, then you be a journalist. But you should also know how to present your journalism. It doesn't take too much, to present yourself. Digital, in my view, is very easy. I would say it's very easy. It's all about, adapting and innovating and learning those tricks. I'm not saying that you become an expert in digital presentation. If you want to be a journalist, then you be an expert as a journalist. And you should learn the things, how to edit, how to, photograph, how to video, and how to put those tags and everything. These are not a big thing. Maybe that one or two graphics, graphic presentation. I forgot to mention about what role does a graphic plate and the presentation box. It matters a lot. So those things you would need some assistance from somewhere. Those things may be the primary skill of some people. But if for journalism, for journalists, the first thing is journalist. Then it comes as a secondary thing which we should not ignore. You should learn that. Otherwise, I'll be dependent on you, Mr. Pandey. I don't want to be dependent on you. I want to be a total person. You see, if I know my journalism, I know my knowledge, I know my studies, I know what is the story, I know how to pick a story, how to headline it, what is the story, what are the facts I should get it, and what are the facts I should ignore, and how to differentiate between facts and fiction, where lies in this story. That is my work. To present it, if I'm depending on Dr. Pandey, then I'm a fool. I should not depend on you. Why should I pay you, man? I can do it myself. And if I will pay, obviously, because I have to do my journalism. So since I'm concentrating there, I will take your assistance by paying you. But I'm not dependent on you. I'm using you by my money to earn my money. This is the way I look at it.
Yes, sir. एक आखिरी प्रश्न है क्योंकि वैसे तो जर्नलिज्म के बहुत सारे साइड्स हैं जिसके बारे में आपसे चर्चा की जा सकती थी, लेकिन क्योंकि ये एक प्लेसमेंट एक्टिविटी के तहत की जा रही है ये वाली पूरी जो सेशन है, तो उस केस में स्टूडेंट्स चाहते हैं अगर कोई ऐसी 3 स्किल्स आप बताएं जिस पे वो आज काम करना शुरू कर दें, क्योंकि वो बहुत प्रोत्साहित हैं और बहुत मोटिवेटेड हैं। तो ऐसे में कोई 3 स्किल्स अगर आप ऐसी बताएं जिस पे वो आज काम करना शुरू कर दें, जिसकी वजह से अगले साल में 6-8 महीनों में उनकी एम्प्लॉयबिलिटी के चांसेस बढ़ जाएं और वो अपने आप को बेहतर तरीके से इंडस्ट्री में देख सकें। अगर आप कोई 3 बताना चाहें।
हमें तो लगता है कि जो ग्राफिक्स है वो ग्राफिक्स सीखना चाहिए, और और एडिटिंग स्किल भी सीख जाइए, ठीक है ना। एडिटिंग स्किल और कैमरा तो मुझे लगता है हर व्यक्ति को आना चाहिए, हर व्यक्ति को आना चाहिए, हर व्यक्ति को आना चाहिए, घर में वगैरह ये है। और लेकिन इन सब को के आगे इसका कोई जोड़ तोड़ नहीं है कि अगर आप जर्नलिज्म करना चाहते हैं तो उसके भी अलग अलग स्किल सेट हैं। जैसे मान लीजिए कि आप रिपोर्टिंग कर सकते हैं, तो रिपोर्टिंग का सेंस होना चाहिए, कैसे होना चाहिए, क्या होता है रिपोर्टिंग। अगर राइटिंग है तो आपको राइटिंग की एडिटिंग मशीन, मतलब एडिटिंग कैसे कर सकते हैं स्टोरीज की, वो कर सकते हैं। तो आप एडिटिंग, मैं कहता हूँ कि एडिटिंग और ग्राफिक्स तो आप जरूर सीख जाओ। और फोटोग्राफी और वीडियो तो आजकल कोई भी समझ ही लेता है, कोई दैट्स नॉट अ बिग डील नाउ विद ऑटोमेटिक कैमराज एंड एवरीथिंग। इवन एडिटिंग भी तो ऑटोमेटिक हो। वेल अभी ऑनलाइन हम यही बैठ बैठ के तो एडिटिंग कर सकते हैं, विच आई डोंट नो, बिकॉज़ माय मेनी ऑफ पीपल tells me want to teach me also, but मैं पढ़ने लिखने वाला हूँ तो मुझे I then don't find time to do that, but I think अगर आपको जर्नलिस्ट बनना है, जर्नलिज्म करना है, तो आई थिंक मुझे लगता है कि आपको रिपोर्टिंग स्किल्स, और उसके लिए रिपोर्टिंग स्किल्स को सीखिए। इवन इफ कोई आपको जॉब नहीं देता है ना, तो आप अपनी अपनी रिपोर्ट से ना पूरा इंडिया का बैंड बजा सकते। आप में वो क्षमता होनी चाहिए, है कि नहीं? वो होनी चाहिए। देखिए मैं आपको आप लोगों को सच बात बताऊँ एक चीज़, कि मैं ज़ी न्यूज़ का 10 साल एडिटर इन चीफ ही रहा, और एनडीटीवी में रहा, फिर न्यूज़ 24 में रहा, और क्या कहते हैं, एक और क्या नाम है उसका, एक और चैनल में था, एक आध दो और। मैंने यही पाया हर जगह, मैंने यही पाया कि जो उनकी सबसे बड़ी स्टोरीज होती है सारे चैनलों की, वो स्टिंगर देता है, स्टिंगर्स देता है। डू यू नो व्हाट इज अ स्टिंगर? आप लोग जानते हो? आप लोग अगर नहीं जानते तो जान लो। स्टिंगर आर नॉट द परमानेंट एम्प्लॉय ऑफ दैट कंपनी, but they are paid according to the stories, and they have some loose kind of an arrangement with those channels. So they are hardly paid handsomely. They are say उनको महीने का 3 4 5 स्टोरीज, तो सारे स्टिंगर्स ने ही तो अपने यूट्यूब चैनल खोल लिए अभी, सारे खोल लिए, पूरे इंडिया में खोल लिए, और अच्छा कर रहे हैं, दे आर डूइंग वेल। तो उस तो मेरे कहने का मतलब है कि क्योंकि उनके पास रिपोर्टिंग स्किल्स बहुत होती, लेकिन उनको क्या है, कोई डिफरेंशिएट नहीं कर पाता था कि कौन सी स्टोरी बड़ी है। दैट वी डू हियर इन बिग चैनल्स, व्हाट दे डू इज कि अच्छा भैया गंगा की लाश दिख रही है, तो इसको पिक कर लो, तो दिस स्टोरी कैन हिट एंड इट इज अ बिग स्टोरी, तो दे पिक। मगर स्टिंगर क्या था कि वो लो लेवल पे उनको उतना लगता है कि यार हर स्टोरी स्टोरी की जैसी है, तो वो उतना वो उसका यूज नहीं कर पाते या उसका डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन। लेकिन अब तो वो भी होने लग गया कि आप डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कर दो, ऐसे आप कहीं से कोई चीज विजुअल कहीं भी कुछ डाल दो, कोई स्टोरी कर दो, लोग देख लेते हैं गूगल से, है कि नहीं, सारा वो डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो जाता है, तो बहुत खुल गया। तो अगर लेकिन अगर रिपोर्टिंग स्किल्स नहीं अच्छा होएगा कि व्हाट इज अ स्टोरी, तो रिपोर्टिंग स्किल्स तो बहुत बड़ी चीज है। हम रिपोर्टिंग स्किल्स पर कभी आपको बताएंगे, बिकॉज मैं एसेंशियली आई वाज रिपोर्टर, तो मेरा बेसिक जो यूएसपी है वो रिपोर्टर का है, और एक एज ए एक्सपर्ट का है, दो चीज का है। हर कोई का सब चीज एक्सपर्टीज नहीं हो सकता। तो मैं जानता हूँ कि क्या रिपोर्टिंग स्किल्स होता है, कैसे कैसे होता है, कि कैसे किसको स्टोरी कहते हैं और स्टोरी को कैसे प्रेजेंट करना। मैं आपको एक बस उदाहरण देता हूँ, बाकी आपका टाइम ज्यादा नहीं लेते हुए, ये लड़के बच्चे बोर हो जाएंगे भी, ये भी तो है, इतना इतना ज्यादा पेशेंस कहाँ है, पेशेंस भी तो नहीं है। तो मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ कि आपको न्यूज सेंस होना चाहिए। न्यूज सेंस बहुत जरूरी है, न्यूज सेंस होना। वो कैसे आएगा न्यूज सेंस? जब तक आपको थोड़ा एक्सपीरियंस फील्ड करनी होगा तब तक, और उसको समझोगे नहीं कि क्या स्टोरी बोलती। जैसे मैं आपसे बात कर रहा हूँ अभी, मुझे एक अभी न्यूज सेंस ऐसे ही दिमाग में आ गया, क्या लोगों का जो पेशेंस लेवल घट रहा है, अटेंशन स्पेन घट रहा है, हम ये एक स्टोरी करें। अभी हम आपसे बोलते बोलते मैं सोच रहा हूँ, अब इसको हम कैसे करेंगे, क्या करेंगे, दैट्स अ स्किल, रिपोर्टिंग स्किल, है ना। अब ये नहीं होएगा ना कि हम आपसे बात कर ली और मैंने बोल दिया तो स्टोरी तो हो गई नहीं, स्टैब्लिश ही नहीं होगी। आपका उसमें फाइंडिंग्स क्या है, आपके एक्सपर्ट्स क्या कह रहे हैं, कैसे ये हुआ, क्यों ऐसा हो रहा है, क्या स्ट्रेस लेवल है, क्या उनको गेम खेलना है, क्या उनको अब इंस्टाग्राम पे करना है, पोस्ट करना है, या मोबाइल पर पबजी खेलना है, इसलिए क्यों घट रहा है, क्या लड़का को लड़की से मिलना है, लड़की को लड़के से मैं 50 तरह की ये चीजें जो हो रही हैं, या बोर हो गए घर में रहते रहते, इससे टेंशन स्पैन घट गया। तो ये एक स्टोरी का एक प्रेमाइज है कि इसके आधार पर हम इसको किस तरह से करेंगे, तो वो टॉकिंग हेड्स क्या होगा, विजुअल्स क्या होगा, किससे बातचीत करेंगे, कैसे इसके कितने लेंथ की होगी, इसमें ग्राफिक्स कौन सा यूज करेंगे, इसमें हिस्ट्री क्या यूज करेंगे, ये स्किल्स, ये जो प्रैक्टिकल स्किल्स ये होना चाहिए। लेकिन आप वही स्टिंगर को बोलोगे, वो नहीं कर पाता, वो एक बोल के जी वो कहता है जी लोगों के, अब वो अपना एक एक पार्ट भेज देता है। जो स्टिंगर ने वो किया था, जो गंगा की लाश देखी थी, उसको फिर वो एक लेवल के बाद छोड़ गया, कि उसको फिर इन्वेस्टिगेट नहीं किया, उसके डीप में नहीं गया कि कहाँ से आए क्या, वो देखा कि जी ये गंगा में लाश। लेकिन इतना पावरफुल विजुअल था वो, कि वो पूरे इंडिया में स्टोरी बन गई, पूरे वर्ल्ड में स्टोरी बन गई। तो ये बात होती है। तो इसलिए हमको लगता है ये सारा स्किल जो है, और सबसेट स्किल है, तो होना चाहिए। और वो, और जो प्राइमरी स्किल आपका है और कुछ मतलब सेकेंडरी स्किल्स है, वो आपको जरूर होना चाहिए, लेकिन प्राइमरी इज प्राइमरी।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया सर, आपने बड़े विस्तार पूर्वक सभी प्रश्नों का उत्तर दिया, और बहुत सारे जो प्रश्न थे वो मैंने क्लब कर दिए थे, और ज्यादातर क्वेश्चंस जो थे वो स्टूडेंट्स के यही थे। तो इसके साथ मैं अब खुशी चौधरी को वापस आमंत्रित करूंगा कि वो इस प्रोग्राम को आगे लेके जाएं। थैंक यू वेरी मच सर।
Thank you, sir. Now I request Mr. Vishal Sahai, Assistant Professor, Dma Media School, to give the vote of thanks. Over to you, sir.
थैंक यू खुशी। अभी मैं सर की बातें सुन रहा था तो मुझे एक बात जहन आई। ये बात 2011-12 के करीब की है। सर को हमने एज ए चीफ गेस्ट बुलाया था भारतीय विज्ञान कन्वोकेशन में, कमानी ऑडिटोरियम में। तो लोग, अब सर जी के एडिटर थे उस वक्त, और सभी लोगों को उत्सुकता थी कि किसी तरीके से नौकरी मिले। तो वहां से एंकर ने उनसे पूछा, व्हाट इज योर नंबर सर, कि जॉब कैसे मिलेगी। तो सर का जब बोलने का मौका आया तो सर ने एक बात बहुत अच्छी बोली, इफ यू आर कैपेबल और अलग सोचते हो राइटिंग को लेके, दिस इज माय नंबर, यू आर मोस्ट वेलकम टू ज्वाइन मी। मुझे अभी भी याद है, आज भी सर ने वही बात बोली कि मोर देन 10 लाख विद इन 4 और 5 ईयर्स के दौरान ये जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज आई हैं, मोर देन 10 लाख डिजिटल के माध्यम से। तो कितनी बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी है हमारे इस डिजिटल मार्केट के अंदर, डिजिटल राइटिंग के अंदर, कि आज एक आपका मोबाइल फोन आपकी सबसे बड़ी ताकत है। अगर आप मोबाइल फोन को ढंग से यूज करते हैं तो आज ये सबसे बड़ा हथियार है आपकी कलम का। जो कहते हैं ना, कलम के राजा हैं हम लोग, कलम लिख लेते हैं, तो आज मोबाइल आपका राजा है, आपके पास मोबाइल है। और जिस तरीके से सर ने इतनी बारीकी से हम सबको, और स्टूडेंट जो स्पेशली जो इस फील्ड में जाने वाले हैं, उनका मार्गदर्शन किया, तो सर का आपका तहे दिल से सर धन्यवाद। मुझे पता है आप बहुत बिजी रहते हैं, लेकिन आपने हमें समय दिया आज के इस कार्यक्रम में, और लाइटिंग किया हमें कि जिस तरीके से हम लोग कैसे शुरुआत कर सकते हैं, हमारे स्टूडेंट्स को किन किन बातों का ध्यान रखना चाहिए, उसके लिए तहे दिल से धन्यवाद। और मैं साथ ही साथ हमारे जो डीन है डॉक्टर अमरीश सक्सेना सर का, क्योंकि ये उन्हीं का ही कॉन्सेप्ट है सीएमएस, जिसके थ्रू हम एक्सपर्ट्स को बुला के स्टूडेंट के साथ बातचीत कराते हैं कि, और ये पता लगे कि स्टूडेंट्स को पता लगे कि इंडस्ट्री में डिमांड क्या है, आपको अपने आप को किस तरीके से तैयार करना है। आई थैंक खुशी, प्रमोद सर एंड ऑल द टेक्निकल टीम जिन्होंने आज का इस प्रोग्राम को ऑर्गेनाइज किया। और आशा करते हैं कि आप सभी स्टूडेंट्स ने सर की जो बातें हैं उनको ध्यान से सुना होगा। और जहां तक एक बात जो सर ने विजन की बात बोली थी, कि विजन तो होना ही चाहिए, हर चीज के लिए बिना विजन के आप काम नहीं कर सकते। तो अपना विजन आज से ही अगर बनाया है तो ठीक है, नहीं बनाया तो आज से क्या, अभी से अपना विजन का टारगेट सेट कर दें और उसके लिए आगे बढ़ें। आप सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। सतीश सर, डीएमई परिवार की ओर से मैं तहे दिल से आपका धन्यवाद देता हूं कि जिस तरीके से आपने समय दिया। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। खुशी।
Thank you, sir. All participants are requested to fill the feedback form given in the chat box. With this, we conclude our third day of CMS series. Thank you, everyone. I, Khush Chaudhary, take your leave for today.
The first impression that comes to our mind about any college: tall buildings, big classrooms, large lobby areas, thick books, IT labs, assignments, class tests, and projects. Nothing besides that. Every hour, minute, second spent here help us carving and shaping our persona, cultivating innovative mindsets for the challenging world. Learning is a lifelong process. Sharing knowledge, inculcating values of life, spark the innovative horizons of mind. Fun and frolic is the nature of every nook and corner here. A daily dose of thrill we are sure to get here.